Hey everyone, thanks for joining Wandering Wino. I'm Sean Burgett, and today we've got a special treat. Today we are in the glorious Santa Rita Hills, and we're at Ampelos Cellars talking with Peter, owner, winemaker of this glorious property. We're going to learn a little bit about biodynamics and see what he has to say.
One of the things that we are doing here is we're trying to really clean up the fruit when we pick it in the field. So right behind me, the guys are out picking Pinot Noir Clone 2A, the Wädenswil clone. And we know that the clusters are not always perfect, so there can be a little bit of imperfections in them. Sometimes the birds will come in and poke a little hole in them, the bees can come after, and the bees can spread a lot of bad things, volatilities, and things that can cause problems later on the fermenters. That's why we want to get it cleaned up. So what we're doing back here is the little buckets that come in with the grapes that's just being picked right now, they go on the sorting table. And on the sorting table, we're inspecting the clusters, checking them out. And usually it's not like every single grape got to be checked out, but we can look at the clusters and get a general idea about how good the cluster is before it goes down into the picking bins. That's also a great place to learn about your different, not just your different blocks of vineyards, but the different rows and different sections of the rows. Like the end of the rows, we usually have a little bit more bird damage. We know about that. If we have a little bit of insect problems like wine mealybugs and other things, which we have maybe 100 clusters a year out of the million clusters we pick here, that's how we can find them, and we know which sections they're in, we know where the ants are, we can go after the ants. So just a wonderful way of securing that the quality of the grapes are as perfect as possible, and also to learn about the vineyards. Of course, we are pulling out the things that every good vineyard pulls out when they pick the grapes. We're pulling leaves out, we're pulling out insects that may be in their bees, a little bit of other kinds of bugs that will be in it. We're picking out second crop, which is those underripe clusters, a little bit lighter in color, less skin proportion. So again, just a wonderful way to do it. And look at this morning sun we got here, middle of October, just a fantastic day in Rebecca's and my office. Principles here at Ampelos is our organic and our biodynamic farming. One very important part of that is the whole idea of using compost. It's about bringing things back to the ranch that comes from the ranch and sort of really recycling things, because there's a lot of great energy in what we get out of this ranch. Of course, some of it we make wine out of, but there are other things as well. But the way that we build up our compost, it really starts with this stuff. And this is made by our horses here in the background. So we got these wonderful things that the horses are producing. Green cuttings, when we cut our lawn around here, other things goes into this part of building up compost. Now the next thing, this is what's happening right now out in the winery, is we will go out, we'll pick the grapes, the clusters, and when we go out and we de-stem them, as soon as we've done that, we bring the stems back here. The stems are really full of a lot of nitrogen, potassium, so some great nutrients that we can use for our compost as well. This stuff, even though it looks like very hard, it actually disintegrates in those 18 months that it takes us to build up our compost. Finally, we got these guys. These are from our pressings. These are the skins and the seeds when we press out after the end fermentation for our red grapes. Same deal, they go back here, they're put into the compost, and it all will be blended together. We start building this up in March, and it takes a total of 18 months. So here at harvest time, now we're in October, we get all the skins, we let them dry out, then we're going to blend it all together, and then it becomes the compost. We're going to go over and take a look at over here. Then the compost is then being applied with the 6 biodynamic preparations of 502 through 507. So that's chamomile, the dandelion, valerian, oak bark, stinging nettle, and yarrow. And those are added in very small amounts to the compost here. It's done again in March, and it's now been sitting in this compost since March, and now that we are getting into November soon, we're going to start applying this. The way we apply this is we kind of spoon feed it. So we will put this into picking bins, which are like our 4x4 feet bins. They go on a trailer behind the tractor where there's a little platform, and 2 of my guys will be standing with a shovel digging in, and then they'll spoon feed like 1 shovel full under each vine. If it's a weaker vine, it may get 2. If it's a young one, it may get 3 spoonfuls, shovelfuls. And by doing that, we really do this micro application of biodynamic compost, get that energy back to the vines that needs that energy. And if you look in the back behind us here, the vineyard that you see there has been organic biodynamic farmed now since 2006 and has not been had any artificial fertilizers, nutrients applied to it actually since 2005, and it's as healthy as can be. Our nutrient levels in the grapes that we picked this year are just best we've ever seen. So does this work? It works fantastic.